So, yes, I'm Jack. I'm 22 years old, and I'm ashamed to say I still live with my parents. Which is very, very hard, because my dad is very old. He's 70 years old. He's very old-fashioned. Old-fashioned, racist. Not like proper race. He's not like Nick Griffin. Nick Griffin, who I've decided, terrible person, but does make very entertaining television. And the proof is in the little racist pudding. Because more people tuned in to watch Nick Griffin when he was on Question Time than have ever bothered to watch an episode of that show in the history of it as a programme. And it made me think, I reckon a couple more of these shows with dwindling viewing figures play the Nick Griffin card. Weakest link, that's boring as shit. You put Nick Griffin on, I'll watch it. Who are you voting for this week, Nick? I'm going to vote for Narinda. Why are you voting for Narinda? Because she said that's all we've got time for. But no, it's very hard living at home because basically I've always been a bit of a mummy's boy and I can't help it. Like, when I was younger, I wish my mum had made me play sport because I wish I'd been good at sport at school, but I wasn't. My mum let me do what I want. And look at me now. I'm 22 years old. Can I play sport to a level where I get to earn thousands of pounds a week? No. Can I play football to a level where I get to date when a girl's allowed? No, I can't. Do you know what I can play? I can play recorder to grade level 7. Do you realise how little sexy time you get from playing Frere Jacques? Very little. And my mum lied to me. She said, oh no, women love a musician, not a recorderist. The only way I'm going to get a girl into my bed by using the recorder is if I knock her out with it. I found school very hard. I did. Because I think a lot of the stuff that we were taught at school was completely pointless. The worst one was French, right? I was taught French at the age of 16. I gave it up. I've forgotten all the French that I was taught, other than one phrase. One phrase that is ingrained into my memory that I will never be able to dispel. And that is the phrase, où est la piscine dans La Rochelle? Yeah. Because the textbook used in UK schools for the past 30 years to teach us French is a textbook called Tricolore. Now, the geniuses at Tricolore decided they would set every single hypothetical scenario where you have to ask for directions in France in a town called La Rochelle. I did a little bit of research about La Rochelle recently. It turns out it's a northern industrial town in France with a population of 32,000, which is half of Grimsby. I doubt they even have a swimming pool, but we all know how to get there. Why? Because the French were screwing with us. Imagine them having their little meeting. Christophe, Pierre, come here. I see we need to discuss where we're going to send the textbook for the English tourists. Well, what about Paris? A very popular destination. Let's set the book in Paris. No! I live in Paris. I do not want the English pig dog, j'adore le cavalry pieces of shit in my town. We need to find somewhere else. Well, what about Marseille? Marseille is a very popular destination de la Sud de la France. No. I have friends and family that live in Marseille. I do not want Barry and Rachel on their camping holiday asking for directions to my mother's bibliothèque. We need to find another town. Well, may I ask Christophe, Pierre, everyone else present in this meeting here with a very stereotypical French name that includes you, Jean-Paul, does anybody live in the town of La Rochelle? Well, no, of course, no one lives in La Rochelle. It has a population of 5%. It is the only place in France that does not even have a swimming pool. What we need to do is get our own back on the French kids. Yeah. We need to send them a textbook that is set in Crewe. Yeah. Let's see how they like that when they come over here with their poxy little English. Christophe, what I see? Excuse me, sir, bonjour. Do you have any directions? Aye. You and your little friend can turn around and you can piss off. I get very annoyed by advertising. I think the worst adverts, though, by far and away, on television, are the government adverts that you get. Because they're always very, very aggressive, but they're always for the most menial crimes. It's always for, like, TV licence or video piracy is a crime. You could end up in jail. It's not a real crime, is it? You're telling me that if I went down to my local prison, I'd overhear conversations in jail cells between cellmates getting to know each other. So, what are you in here for? I murdered my family in their sleep, smothering to death my own parents with my bare hands. What about you, pretty boy? I recorded the Harry Potter film on my Sony Ericsson. Do you like Quidditch? more aggressive the advert is as well, the more menial the crime is. Like, you turn it on, it's like, look at you. You're pathetic. You're worse than a sex offender. I hate you. Everybody hates you. You get cholera. It's a criminal offence. You could end up in jail with a maximum prison sentence of 25 years. And all your family and loved ones hating you and wishing you suffered from a degenerative disease. Don't fish without a rod licence. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. I've been Jack Whitehall. Thank you very much. Good night, Liz.
Hello. How are you? All right. I'll give you a couple of seconds to readjust, because I recognise I come as quite the anticlimax. Down in and out. Oh, yeah! Oh, dear. Seriously, though. It's important how you talk, because people decide very quickly whether they can be bothered to listen to you or not. And the best tip I ever got was from a teacher, because it's important that teachers are heard, because they impart, serious facts. My teacher, the best teacher I've heard was my technology teacher. To make us listen at school, what he used to do, every now and again, he'd put a little speech impediment on, right? Not a big one, just sometimes at the end of sentences, he'd make a little noise. So we'd be sat round and he'd go, don't forget, lads, if you are going to do a dovetail joint, just reinforce it with some PVA glue. And that was it. That is poetry when you're 15. That is one lesson you are never missing. And of course, it's genius for a teacher, because we were listening out for it, accidentally learning stuff. And I think he knew, because as a reward, he'd always do a nice big one at Christmas. Like, don't forget, lads, that will be on the exam. School was the last time I was really happy with myself, I think. Because school, you don't know who you are, you're still learning. You go to university to find out who you are. And I went to university and found out I'm a prick. Yeah, it's a real blow to me. I have compulsions about cleanliness, which are not kept by most students. You go to university to find out you're cool, you try drugs, you have sex. I found out I like stuff tidy and in its place. Which is devastating when your flatmates are bursting into your room going, "Well, I got a spoon up my arse, let's do some and go out." I was more like, well, why don't we wash that spoon? I'm much happier on my own. I'm very angry when I leave. When I go out now, I'm a very angry person if I see things done how I, don't think they should be done. Like when I drive, generally I don't assert my anger because I'm aware I've got a punchable enough face as it is without provoking the matter. But it's only when I drive I become Mr. Confident because my brain goes, "Ooh, John, I've had a quick scan round and you're wrapped in metal now." That's the definition of RoboCop, isn't it? So when I'm in my car, I love my horn. I really love to blast the horn. And there's a lot of cliches about small men who blast their horn. I just do it to get it out of my system. If someone cuts me up, I want them to know they've done it. So I'll just, "Screw you, society." The problem is I drive a Ford Fiesta. That's not the most masculine horn on the market, that one. What's supposed to come out as "screw you, society" tends to come out as "stop it." It ruins. I've been single for a long time now because you need to have a certain confidence, I think, to get in a relationship. You need to be able to go up to someone. My friends love it. My friends that are single love being able to go up to strangers in a bar and know that they know nothing about them. I hate that. I'd rather, if I see someone I like, I'd rather just go up to them, give them a laminated list of everything I'm good and shit at. There you go. That's the full package. You see what you think? I'll just be over here crying into a drink. But my friends love that. "Oh yeah, what do I do? I'm a ninja." Probably not a ninja, then they wouldn't have seen you. Otherwise, you're pretty crap at your job. But then they go back, and the sex thing, it's confidence in sex now is crucial. They love the fact that you can go back with someone and go, "You'll probably never have had it like this before." And, I can do that, but it's more of a, "You'll probably never have had it like this before." I don't know if you've ever been with what they call a crier. That's all the time I've got. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Take care. Good night.
Tell you a little bit about me first. I got married at 22 and divorced at 29. Have I got any divorcees in? Give us a cheer. Some really happy people, well done. Have I got anybody in here who's married? Give us a cheer if you're married. Well, sound as happy as that fella up there. Never mind, your time will come. Who's married at the front? Give us a wave if you're married. Let's have a look. Nice lady, how long have you been married? 3.5 years. Oh, you're nearly done. When I got divorced, I moved back in with my mum and dad. That's not good, is it? No. When we first split up, somebody said it was like a bereavement. It's one of those stock phrases that roll out to people who've never thought of peeing on the husband's toothbrush. I'm not telling them. Time's a healer. Plenty more fish in the sea. My own personal favourite. I never liked him. That was me mum. Still get the how are you head tilt. How are you? Just want to get it straight. It isn't like a bereavement at all. Because if he died, I'd have had me mortgage paid. And I could have danced on his grave. When we first split up, I wanted to see a counsellor, and she suggested that I read Paul McKenna's How to Mend a Broken Heart. Got to page 30, and I slept with a 23-year-old. It's not what it said. It's what it should have said. Because it really bloody worked. When I bought the book, I bought it off Amazon, and underneath it said, customers who bought this also bought suicide isn't always the answer. Because it sometimes is. But when I became newly single, a friend of mine bought me a teapot for one cow. She's not my friend anymore. She's not even alive anymore. She's alive, she's just heavily disfigured. Some kind of teapot-related incident. But I had a bit of a New Year's resolution this year, decided that I was going to start watching me weight. I realised watching me weight doesn't imply that it's going to get any less, does it? Just like I'm documenting how fat I'm going to get. But I think because my downfall is cakes and puddings, I don't really drink an awful lot, and I was going to say I don't do drugs, but I did have a space cake once. I just heard the word cake. I just found it really dry. I mean, I might not know drugs, but I do know cake. I just think a bit of buttercream wouldn't have gone astray. It's almost like they hadn't thought about the cake part at all. But I think I'm like everybody else in that there are bits of me I really don't like, and I really don't like my legs. And recently I decided, sod it, nobody cares but you, just wear a skirt. So I wore a skirt, and on the first day of wearing a skirt, I got whistled at by a builder. How good is that? Wasn't so much a wolf whistle as he went... It's not the same thing at all, is it? It's like you would a little dog. But I did, in a moment of stupidity recently, I did toy with maybe getting myself some thigh-high boots. And sort of fishing for a compliment, I said to my sister, where would I get thigh-high boots that would fit my thighs? And she said, well, trannies must get them from somewhere. But I've been going through things that have been in storage and deciding what to keep and what to bin, and I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with my wedding dress. Let's get some suggestions from the audience. What about somebody from the top layer? Tell me, what do you think I should do with my wedding dress? Give us a suggestion. Burn it. Oh, did you hear that straight away? Bill even finished my sentence. Burn it. Are you all right? Somebody give him a cuddle up there. Burn it. That's a bit of man, isn't it? Burn it. Put the ex-husband in it and just burn it. Pretty sure that's murder. What about a suggestion from the lovely ladies in the front here? What about any of you lovely ladies? Give me a suggestion. What do you think? Well, you're conferring. That's good. Tell me. Charity shop. I thought about that because there's one not far from where Mum and Dad live. It's always just full of pensioners. And I love the idea of an old lady buying it for like £4 and just twirling. Lovely. Bless. Some people often suggest that I sell it. As an audience, do you think there's much of a market for a second-hand wedding dress, yes or no? Yeah, for some fellas. Did you hear the fellas? Yes. Get a cheap one. And if we can get the flowers from a graveyard. They're quite a nice, normal audience. I sometimes get quite weird suggestions. The weirdest one I've ever had, this guy said to me, totally straight face, "I think you should wear it and follow him round in it." And I looked at his girlfriend who was sitting beside him as if she was going to go, "What's he like?" And she just went... That's not my favourite one. My favourite one I've ever had, somebody said I should wear it on first dates. No, I'm not looking for anything serious. La, la, la. Oh, you've been really nice. But I'll leave you with one thing. I've noticed recently how you can tell as a woman whether or not you're overweight. It's during the throes of passion, when your partner picks you up. Whether or not he says 1, 2, 3 first. You've been lovely. Thank you very much. Good night.
Hello. Hello, good evening, how are you? Good. Don't worry, I've never heard of me either. Gotta be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to be here. For those who haven't yet worked out, I'm from Liverpool. Yeah. It just shows the BBC's commitment to ethnic diversity. They could have put me on anywhere, but they thought, no, let's throw them in Manchester and see what happens. And thanks for that, thanks for the applause, because we have this rivalry between us, and it's unnecessary. Let's be honest, it's unnecessary. Between Liverpool and Manchester, what is there? Warrington. And let's be honest, before the Swedes built a shop, we didn't even know it was there. And when the Swedes built the shop, they realised the problems they had. They thought, we're going to build a shop in Warrington. These people are half-breeds from Liverpool and Manchester. Let's make it easy. Let's show them which way to walk around the shop. If you ever go to IKEA and try to walk against the arrows, people scream at you. You can't just go to the marketplace. You've got to go through soft furnishing. Even if you don't want anything in soft furnishing, that's why all over the country, people are walking home with 4-foot snakes that they didn't want to buy. And you just buy stuff, don't you? Like we bought a new fridge. And we had a fridge. There was nothing wrong with the fridge that we had. It just wasn't massive. So my wife wanted a new fridge. She wanted a new silver fridge that's the size of a bungalow. So she wanted a new fridge, and because I liked sex, I said yeah. And we got this fridge, and the best thing about this fridge, the big selling point about this fridge, is that you can get instant cold water direct from the fridge, which is, I've got to be honest, that hasn't half changed our lives. Because what we've decided to do is to put the fridge in the kitchen next to the sink. I'm probably saving myself a yard of walking every day. But what that meant is that we had the spare fridge. And there was a time when I was growing up that having a spare fridge was easy. What was that? Well, that was the joke, but but obviously I didn't know I was in a double act. You know what you've just done then? When I walked out here, I had that same feeling that General Custer had. I looked around the room and thought, I'm from Liverpool, these are from Manchester, I'm outnumbered. But you've managed to put them all on my side. Thanks for that. Because you're not wrong, the garden's the best place. When I was growing up, that's where we put it. Let's be honest, we all would. If you had some spare white goods, they went in the garden. Just so you could show off to the neighbours. You could say, look, I've got a fridge I don't even use. Look at that. And we're doing that well, we've left the plug on it. That's how you used to show off, but you don't now. You can't do that now. It's not acceptable, and you know, kids don't play with fridges in the same way we used to play with fridges. You know, it's not acceptable. In fact, my kids wouldn't know what to do with the fridge in the garden. They wouldn't see it like the adventure that I saw it. You know, my kids, to be honest with you, are posh kids. My kids are posh, spoilt, middle class. My kids are the kids I used to throw stones at, to be honest. And there's some mornings where they're going to the posh schools with the posh satchels. I forget, I'm going, piss off. Sorry, son. You've dropped your lunchbox there, all your couscouses fell out. So there's no point, there's no joy in leaving it in the garden. So what we did, I thought, I'll have to get rid of it. I don't know if anyone's tried to get rid of a fridge these days. It's a nightmare. But I don't know if you're aware of this fact, that if you're from Liverpool, by law, someone in your family has to have a van. It's true. You ask any Scouser you know, they know someone with a van. And so my brother already, he's got the family van. I phoned him up and said, I need the van. I've got to get rid of a fridge. So I took the fridge to the dump. Now, as I say, going to the dump used to be great. You could go to the dump and get rid of stuff. Now you go to the dump, you've got to pass an exam. I turned up at the dump, there's a fella there with a yellow vest and a clipboard who's done an NVQ in clipboard management. I turned up at the dump. He said, what have you got? I said, rubbish. And he said, well, what's in the back? I said, the fridge. He said, whoa, you can't bring that here. I said, why? He said, we've got an environmental policy now. You can't just bring a fridge here. I said, why not? He said, well, fridges have got fairons in. You can't just dump a fridge anymore. I said, well, what has to happen? He said, well, you'd have to phone us up. I said, and then what happens? He said, then we come and get it. I said, who do I ring? This is true, this. I said, who do I ring? And he gave me a number. I'm sat in the van, I got my phone out. I pressed the number. The phone in his hut rang. He went to the hut, he answered the phone, he said, hello? I said, I've got a fridge. He said, where are you? I said, I'm outside, dickhead. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been absolutely lovely. I've been Jon Richardson. Thank you, good night, God bless.
Nailed it!
Hello, Edinburgh. Are you well? Yeah. It's good to be back. This is the best place in the world to do comedy, isn't it? Yeah. It is, because you love a laugh, don't you? Yeah. So you love a laugh. So last year, I was staying, what's that street? With St. Mary's Street, is that the one off the Royal Mile there? And I had a first floor flat. And so every day I was at the same height as the open top misery door. I was at exactly, when I used to sit at my window, I was at exactly the same height as the poor, miserable, sodden Japanese tourists. Huddled in the wind and driving rain in their emergency ponchos. Their faces set like stone against the Scottish elements, like little shrink-wrapped gargoyles hanging off the side. They'd open their mouths and water would spew down the side of the bus. And I was sat there, I would just get the odd word of the commentary would waft in on the wind. Have you heard the commentary? It's hilariously miserable. The odd word, the odd ancient grudge would float in on the wind, you know, like 10,000 Scots died, meow. Centuries of oppression, meow. I went on one a few days later. I came off like William Bloody Wallace. So I was like, come on! We can do this. I was going to go shopping in the afternoon. I ended up marching on Cumbria instead. It's nice to be back, though. I'm staying here tonight. That's good. Yes, I'm staying. Well, it means I don't have to drive home, because this job is terrible for that. You know, you usually have to drive home late at night. I hate nighttime driving, do you? What are those things they put on when you drive in late at night? Not lights, no. On the radio, man. Those things when you're driving along, you know, they're not adverts. They're like, what do you call them? They're like infomercials. Or, do you know the things I mean when you're driving along and you're tired and it's late? And then the radio says, you're tired, it's late. The monotony of driving is sending you to sleep. I'm thinking, you're not really helping here, pal. You know, those things, I hate those. I was driving back to Cardiff once, and have you heard this one? I was about 1:30 in the morning. I was on the M4 there, and this one came on. Have you heard this? It said, fall asleep at the wheel, and you could travel further than you think. You could travel further than you think. In fact, in just 6 seconds, it said a car on the motorway could travel up to 1/8 of a mile. Right? It was 1:30 in the morning when I heard that. I had 110 miles still to go. Yeah, so I did a few calculations. I set my alarm for 3, you see. I must have slept through it. I woke up driving through Ireland the next morning. I'd been on the car ferry and all sorts. I flew to, you go all over the world with this job. I flew to Australia. Are you Australian?
Yeah.
We're up there. Where are you from?
I'm from Brisbane.
From Brisbane. I went to Melbourne. Do you know Melbourne? Can you explain that flight to me?
What, the distance?
Well, I left my house at 12:30 on a Monday. I got to your place Wednesday, Tita. What the hell happened to Tuesday? I had stuff to do. And when I left Melbourne, my flight left at 6:30 on a Monday morning. It took exactly 24 hours, but I still got back Monday night. What the hell happened to Tuesday again? What is it with you people on Tuesdays? I flew to Ireland. Any Irish in? I flew to Dublin a few years ago, and I've told this story all over the world, you know, and everywhere I've gone, I've blamed a different airline for this story, but the true story happened on a flight to Dublin, and I can't tell you the name of the airline I flew with for legal reasons. We'll call them Brian Air, right? And listen, I was excited. I was going abroad. I'm Welsh. I bought shorts. T-shirts, sunglasses. They don't even sell them in Wales. I had to go to Bristol to buy them. I was excited, and then I bought myself a brand new suitcase as well, one of the posh ones with the wheels, and then I flew to Dublin. I will show you what I found when I arrived in Dublin airport just a few hours later. That. It's not funny. Anyway, I get the last laugh. It still works. You can see where some hilarious baggage handlers put a heavy label on that. Look. Bend your knees is the advice to anybody tackling that baby. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. The flight was about $9.99. I wasn't expecting miracles. If I'm completely honest with you, the first 3 times this went round the baggage carousel, I laughed. Everybody laughed the first 3 times. It was hilarious. The staff, the passengers, everybody was having a great time, and then one by one they went home. It was just me and Liz. I thought I could sort it out. I took this to the desk. I marched over. Thought, I'll sort this out. I didn't know what I was up against. The girl on the desk looks at me, no hint of irony. She says, what seems to be the problem? I said, mainly it's about my luggage. She said, is that not it? I said, this is some of it. Don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled to get this back. The thing is, I'm here for a month. I'm pretty sure I packed more than this. She started asking me those questions. You know those questions they ask you in airports? I've heard these questions all over the world. They're normally perfectly sensible questions. There was no need for it. She said, could anybody have interfered with it? I said, we probably shouldn't rule that out. She said, have you left it unattended at any point? I said, I suppose I must have. I'm not the most observant person in the world, but if this had happened while I was wheeling it through the airport, I think I'd have noticed. Surely it would have gone very light, very quickly. She said, did you pack it yourself? I thought, why? What are you suggesting? I think my mother packed for me and thought this is all I'd need. She said, we'll do a report. Don't you worry, Mr. Gilbert. We'll soon have your luggage back. I thought, good, this is progress. Do your bloody report. It was all going quite well until about question 3. She took my name, she took my address, and then she said, does your luggage have any distinguishing features, Mr. Gilbert? I said, it's got a long black handle, if that's any use. She wrote that down. Everyone's a comedian in Ireland, aren't they? Everyone, especially the taxi drivers, they're the worst. Because I walked from the airport to the taxi rank. And bear in mind that I didn't have a 5-minute story to tell. I just had 22 kilograms of missing shit. I wasn't looking too pleased, you know, but the guy in the first taxi, he saw me coming along with this. His eyes lit up. You could see what he was gonna... It was so predictable. You could see what he could... Oh, he walks down to the back. So, pops open the boot. Oh. Typical Irish wit. He says, do you want a hand with that? No, thank you. I think I can manage. I said, if you really want to help, you can take the trolley back. Ladies and gentlemen, it's lovely to be back in Edinburgh. Hopefully see you all at the festival. You've been absolutely lovely. And Rhod Gilbert, thank you very, 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 very much. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Thank you.
Very nice. And you're all having a drink because it's the weekend? I don't drink, unfortunately. I used to go to AA meetings, which is a bit awkward, isn't it, to bring up at a comedy event. But just to reassure you, the group I used to belong to was actually called Anonymous Alcoholics. And we'd just meet down the local pub and just get utterly shit-faced and not tell each other our names. So the credit crunch, that's dragging on, isn't it? It's a strange thing, the phrase credit crunch is getting a little bit laboured now. I'm getting bored of the expression. Everyone's blaming everything on the credit crunch, weather's shit, credit crunch, car won't start, credit crunch. Got chlamydia now, credit crunch. Can't blame everything on it, really. You've got to rein that in. And this is the thing, because obviously you don't know where you are. People use phrases and expressions, and it's a sort of, you know, this is the culture we live in, a bit of bullshit culture. I saw an advert recently for a 5-door car, and when I got down to the showroom, it turned out to be a 4-door car with a boot. You can't go around changing the name of things. That's not reasonable, is it? Where do you draw the line with that scale of bullshit, really? What then is the petrol flap? Is that a fairy door? Because if they said that, I'd get one. I'd be so excited. It's got a door for fairies. Is it coming yellow? I'd be over the moon. So these are the things that I don't... You know, it's difficult to... Like, people use expressions that I suppose they've picked up off the telly, phrases and exaggeration. That's a thing, you know, that we get used to. I cooked a meal for my friend recently, and she said, oh, I can't eat that because I've got a wheat, lactose, banana, Marmite intolerance. I think you've got an eating disorder. It's a strange thing. She said, oh, I've given up drinking during the week. Well, you'll dehydrate. So, yes, I had a baby. Last year I had a baby. It's weird when people clap that. That's nice, but it's just procreation. But yes, I had a baby. It was lovely. It was boring being pregnant. God, they drag that out, don't they? That does go on. It takes a really long time to cook a human. 9 months, traditionally. And People want to talk to you quite a lot about it. That's what I found whilst being pregnant. Especially old ladies. They love to talk about it with you. Old ladies at bus stops. They'll just come up to you, see you're pregnant and go, oh, is it your first? Are you excited? This is what you get asked all the time. Are you excited? You excited? You first? You excited? And I'd say, well, sometimes I'm excited, but I can't sustain excitement because it's an emotion, it's transient. Sometimes I've got a sort of choking, suffocating sensation that I've made an irreversible mistake. No, don't go away, come back. But they don't want to have that conversation, old ladies at bus stops. They want to play the guess the gender game. That's their favourite game. They love that game. It's amazing to me that a game with a 50-50 outcome can evoke such speculation from old women. But they do really love that game. It's amazing. They're like, oh, do you know what you're going to have? I said, no. They said, I'll tell you. Your bump, it's high, as opposed to low. And it was the same with Maud. And I saw 2 magpies last Thursday. And I got a mate called Roy. So you're going to have a boy. I said, back off, witch. You haven't got a clue. I had a girl. This is how assured they are about these things. And it's so boring being pregnant because you can't drink. That's the crap bit. I used to go to pregnancy yoga. That wasn't particularly fun, but the woman that ran the group was extraordinarily patronising. And so she'd welcome us in. We'd all waddle in and sit in a big circle on bean bags. And she'd welcome us in and she'd say, hello, ladies. Mummies to be. We're going to go around the group. We're going to ask everybody their name, how many weeks pregnant they are, and how they feel. Okay? So by the time it came around to me, I was like, hello, my name's Kerry. I'm 28 weeks pregnant. How do I feel? I've got a terrible hangover. That was quite funny. Watching all these women go, can you drink now? Can you drink? Have they changed the rules on all of that? It's a strange thing. And I'm 35. You see, the media's always going on and on about women leave it later and later to have children. We're always hearing about that, aren't you? You're not meant to do that, apparently. You're not meant to leave it too late. If you're thinking of doing that, you're meant to put your eggs in a Tupperware box, stick them at the back of the fridge. And they say that the reason my generation leave it later and later to have children is because we've got arrested development. This is what they put it down to. We don't want to grow up. We're too busy pretending to be young. And I didn't realise how true that was until I told my oldest friend that I was having a baby, my old mate that I went to school with. I said to her, I'm pregnant. And she went, oh my God, are you going to keep it? Have you told your mum? You're 38. Tell me this, why do baby clothes have pockets? Where are they going? That's brilliant. That creates images of a 10-week-old baby going, wallet, keys, phone. Let's go. She's got a pocket in her hat. What's that for your fags? You don't need a pocket in your hat, do you? Needless waste of fabric. This is annoying. Friends of mine that haven't got kids but that have got a dog and think it's the same. I was chatting to a friend of mine because my daughter's very mobile. She can really move now, and I was thinking about getting one of those cages. Playpen. I thought, oh, it's a bit cruel. So I was chatting to my friend about it, and he said, well, what we do with Edward, that's his dog. He said, what we do with Edward is we put him in a kennel with a chain. I said, that seems extreme. He's like, well, don't blame me when she shits under the sofa and bites through electric wiring. You've been an absolute delight, and look forward to the rest of your weekend tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Very nice to be here. I actually come from the East End of London. Like most East End kids, I messed up my education because they left the gate open. I went to a tough inner-city comp with low expectations. In the third year, the careers officer turned up and he asked us what we'd like to do with our lives. The most ambitious kid in the class is Gary Hutton because he wants to drive a van. We erupted. We're like, you dreamer, Hutton. He's never gonna drive a van. No kid from this school has ever gone on to drive a van. Come on out, and you know why this school is here. This school is here to produce the people who carry the stuff to the van. Seemed like a long time ago, my school memories. In my 40s now, getting tired, don't go out much anymore. I've reached the point, if I queue up to get into a nightclub, and the bouncer says you can't come in, I just look at him and say, oh, thanks, mate. My feet are absolutely killing me, they are. Can't actually remember the last time we ended up out. You know what I mean by this, don't you? The fact that in the UK we drink so much, we have different levels of being out, different types. I'll talk you through them. You pop out just to go to the shops, you've got to get a couple of bits, and you bump into a friend who says, should we have a quick drink? And you go, yeah, only a quick one, though, because I'm very busy. 3 hours later, you're still in the pub. And then what happens is the evening people come in. These people are going out properly. These people are going what we like to call out. Now, the out people come up to you, don't they? And they go, you going to come out with us? And you go, I can't come out. I didn't even come out. I only popped out. The out people don't want to hear this. They look at you, they go, look, you popped out. You've ended up out. You may as well come out. If you've got just the right amount of alcohol in your system, you look at them, you go, you know what? I'm coming out. 5 hours later, you're in some horrendous nightclub. Sinatra's or Cinderella's, some hellhole. You're drunk now, and you feel you've got a crazy story for everybody. And you walk up to people. You go, do you know what? I didn't even come out. I only popped out. Now look at me. I'm out. I think the reason you feel so compelled to keep telling this rather long-winded story, because you're standing there in your carpet slippers. With a pint of milk and a cut loaf. People of Brighton, you've been absolutely lovely. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Hello? Oh, doubly nice for me to be here because I actually grew up in Ireland. I grew up in a little place called Ballypatrick in Tipperary. If you've heard of it, we are so related. Are you in? Dada! Ah! It's a small town. Well, town is pushing it. It's a small little village. It's properly small. It's so small our telephone number was 5. That's how small. Our phone didn't even have a dial on it. It didn't. It had a little wind-up handle at the side. I don't know whether you remember these. My mum used to wind up the phone and it would go straight through to the post office and somebody there would put you through manually. And my mum would phone up and go, hello, it's Julie. It's 5. Can you put me through to 4, please? And the woman in the post office got, there's no point, Julie. I've just seen her walking past the window now. I can shout after her now if you like, but there's no point, really. She's out. Leave it. My first school was in Ireland. I went to one of those proper little rural schools where there was 5 classes in one room. If you went down a year, you just moved desk. That was it. One girl in our class who could read, but we had to burn her because we thought she was a witch, you know. Nobody likes to show off, do they? Now, Bridget, reading, where will that ever get you? No. Fuzzy felt. That's the future. Fuzzy felt and Play-Doh. It's bendy and it tastes great! But my mum's English, I sort of inherited that sort of English awkwardness. Do you know what I mean? We're kind of feisty but don't know what to do with it. Do you know what I mean? That sort of, not sure. I saw a beautiful example of this a couple of weeks ago in London. I was walking down the South Bank in London and I saw 2 teenagers drinking cans of cider on a bench, drinking away and shouting abuse at tourists. And then one of them finished his can of cider and threw it on the floor like that. And his friend just looked at him and went, Robert, no. No. We're binge drinkers, but we're not litterbugs. I get it, my myself, though, that sort of angst. I'm not sure where to put it. I've discovered that I'm so English that there's a part of me that doesn't even like to use my car horn anymore, in case it's interpreted too aggressively by the driver in front of me. It's pathetic. My car has a horn. I'll just sit there and go, no, I'm not going to use it. It comes across really angry. No, I'll just sit here. I think I need an English car horn for my English car. I need a car horn that just goes... Sorry, it's just the lights have changed. No, about 5 minutes ago. Sorry, it's not overly aggressive. I do apologise. I'm just late for a dialysis appointment. I'm so sorry. I'm awkward, though. I'm an awkward person. I get myself in sort of awkward situations. I walked into a shop the other day. I was in London. I walked into a shop and I caught sight of myself on a CCTV monitor. I don't know whether they've ever done this. I caught sight of myself and went, oh my God. Oh, my God, is that me? Is that me? Is that me? Because you're at a funny angle, aren't you? So you've got to make sure it is you. So you end up doing the is that me dance into the CCTV monitor in the shop going, is that me? Is that me? Is that me? Is that me? That is me. That is me. Look at that. Look at the state of that. Look at the hair on that. And I had this awful thought. I thought, if I go missing... I've decided I've got to look after myself a bit more, eat a bit more healthily. I struggle with health food. I find health food quite smug. I don't know about you. There's a health food shop around the corner from where I live, and I often go in there, not to buy anything, you understand, just to slap a vegan round the face with a steak and run off. It's the little things in life that keep you going, isn't it? You just run in there. Come on, you pasty-faced bugger. Come on. Chase me. What's that burning smell? Protein. Oh, yeah. That'll be protein, yeah. Why aren't you running? Because you fainted. You fainted. You fainted. I don't do the competitive aspect of life very well at all. I am the sort of person who will wander around a graveyard just to give myself a brief sense of one-upmanship. Do it. It's brilliant. You always come out feeling like a champion. Or that. Who's winning? I'm winning. Yeah. Dorothy, dead in 1859. Beat ya in your face dots. I hate competitive people. Everybody knows one of those people that comes up to you and goes, I'm sorry, Zoe, but I'm just really competitive in everything I do. I'm like, are you? Well, then you're an arsehole. But if it makes you feel any better, you are the best arsehole I have ever met. People so stupid to go, oh, you are the reason my tins of soup come with cooking instructions. You see beautiful examples of people not thinking all around you, don't you? Flying over here today, I was on a plane. Best way to fly, I find. And I was on a plane, but there was no row 13 on the plane. So I said to the air stewardess, no row 13 on this plane. Why is there no row 13 on this plane? She went, oh, it's because people think it's unlucky to sit in row 13. I went, really? There's obviously not a lot of thinking going on there, is there? When you think, they think it's unlucky to sit in row 13. Now, I am no aviation expert, but I've done quite a bit of flying, right? And I have never been at 33,000 feet with a very large gin and tonic and a packet of peanuts, and all of a sudden, row 13, seats A to F, has dropped through the fuselage. And everybody else is carried on quite merrily. I have never seen that. People in row 12 turning round going, oh, that was lucky, wasn't it? That has just gone, hasn't it? That's just clean gone. People in 14 going, look at that, leg room, brilliant. I didn't pay for that. Brilliant. Folks, thank you ever so much. I've been Zoe Lyons. Thanks for listening. Good night. Cheers.
Did you know that sharks will only attack you if you're wet? It's a fact, that is. That's a fact. No, I've got to say, thank you for that welcome. What a fantastic welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. And I know a lot of comics will say this, but it is really fantastic for me to be here in Swansea. It's got a special significance for me playing Swansea because, well, because my stepbrother's real dad is from not far from here. So... in many ways, it's like a homecoming. Actually, you might be able to help me. The question, something's always puzzled me. About Tom Jones. You know Tom Jones? You know he sings that song, It's Not Unusual. And he goes, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, it's not unusual to find out I'm in love with you. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know that second bit? Is that Welsh? Just have a bit of that. Read the papers today. The government are very worried about childhood obesity. They're very worried about that. I don't know what they're going to do about it, apart from strengthening seesaws. I don't really know what they can do. Yeah? The weird thing is, have you noticed, a lot of these obese children, a lot of these obese kids, they wear trainers. That's odd, isn't it? You know? And I don't think they're doing it ironically. You know, they're going, ha ha ha. What am I like? This is true, it's absolutely true. My nephew goes to a school where if you don't like football or athletics or rugby, you can choose your own activities, I assume, to suit your metabolism. And if I was the larger child, you know, which I think is the nicest way of putting it, if I was the larger child, I'd choose falconry. Yeah. It's perfect, isn't it? Just standing in a field, with your arm out. Waiting for the falcon. To bring you some titbits. Oh, go for that. Now, get nachos. You've got to be very careful what you say. You know, on television, you can't not allowed to swear. He said, OK, fair enough, you know, that's fair enough. I said, I might have to change some material, but I said, you know, it's fine, you know. So here goes. Robbie Williams, right? What a nincompoop. Oh, he's such a nincompoop, isn't he? In fact, I go as far as to say he's a flipping nincompoop. The twat. He is, isn't he? Do you know what drives me mad about him? He's always got his shirt off, hasn't he? Like that, when he's on stage. He's always walking around with his shirt off, like that. Like that. Yeah. What's the matter with you? You're a pop star, not a scaffolder. He's walking around. If he could, he'd stick his cock in all our faces, wouldn't he? And you, I'm Robbie Williams. It's not because I'm prudish. It's not because I think, oh, a gentleman should always wear a shirt when he's serenading the ladies. No. But if you went to a party, right, and there was a bloke wandering around with his shirt off like that, you wouldn't think, oh, I can't wait to meet him. No. You'd think, uh-oh, the world wanker champion has arrived. He's just beaten Chris de Burgh in the final. And sometimes, mate, he's got no shirt on and a scarf. Someone who's got no shirt and a scarf has spent a little too long getting dressed, I think. Trying on shirts, tucking it in, I don't like that one, put that one on, no, I don't like it. Oh, I just won't wear anything. Ooh, a bit chilly, put the scarf on. Well, maybe I'm being harsh on him. Maybe it's just because, right, he's using the wrong fabric softener. Yeah. Probably a cap full of Febreze in his wash. Turns out he's a great bloke. Yeah. You don't get punchlines like that every day, do you? I don't get a lot of stuff nicked. Thank you. Now, one of the great things about doing this job, travelling around the country, you get to see what people think about stuff. And one of the things I'm quite interested in at the moment is how people feel about the environment. Is that something you care about here in Swansea? Yeah. Yeah, oh, well, that's good. That's very positive. That's very upbeat. But no, I do. I really care a lot. I'm quite interested as to why some people really, really care and other people couldn't give a shit, do they? They don't care at all. They just don't care. Some people, quite happily, they'd fly to the shops, wouldn't they? If EasyJet did a "we'll fly you to the shops" deal. Brilliant, I'm in. I can bring back more patio heaters. So the cat's nice and warm in the garden. While their neighbours could be shivering, drinking puddle water, chucking a sausage backwards and forwards, trying to heat it up. Come on. Because some people really care, don't they? Every single piece of environmental news terrifies them, like the ice caps are melting, sea levels are rising. The samba button on a Yamaha organ uses 10 times more energy than any other rhythm. Turn it off! And I care, I do care, I care a lot, actually. I care a lot. Well, not as much as I used to, because I went to America. Right? When I came back, I thought, what's the point? You know? Why do I bloody bother? Because the consumption levels over there are so much more extreme. You know, I just feel stupid now, really. You know, I'm at home recycling, washing out Marmite pots, you know. Must get all the Marmite out so they don't have to make another one. And they're drilling for oil in Alaska, mopping up with a seal pup. I just feel stupid. I feel like I've turned up at an earthquake with a dustpan and brush. Can I help at all? What have you got? Will you do all that? I'll do this little bit here. Feel better now. I do. I make a big effort. I get the train as much as I can. And I'm really shocked about how crap the trains are in this country. They're amazing. The standard, the quality of the trains is... I would say at least half the trains I get, you still can't flush the toilet when the train's at the station. I think that's incredible. It's 2009 and we're still crapping on the track. With all the technology we've got, they can't come up with a toilet that can be used whenever's necessary. At the moment, it's not even a toilet. It's a hole in a train. They don't have this problem on planes or coaches, do they? I've never driven up the M1 behind a coach and gone, oh, no! That's disgusting. I'm getting out of this lane. Whoa! Well, surely they can get someone to help them with this problem, you know? Get someone in, you know, like the iPod guys, yeah. Because they took something that was bulky and inconvenient, didn't they? Your record collection. Used to take up an entire wall in your house, didn't they? But they shrunk it all down. Little iPod. Wow. Or the mini chicken Kiev guys. Where were their minds at? That was fractal, man, because nobody wanted to eat chicken Kiev, did they? I don't want that sloshing around inside me. A little one. Oh, could be tempted, yeah. Oh, it's disgusting. Much better than my idea. Massive chicken Kievs. I went the other way. They were huge, you could stand on them. Look at these. Yeah, that was a great episode of The Dragon's Den. They didn't invest. Because I love that show, but they hardly ever invest in anything, do they? They usually go, it's rubbish, you're mental, go away, you're a loony. You know? So I don't think they should do, because if you look in the shops, right, there's so many weird, stupid products for sale which people are quite happy to buy. They should probably let most of the stuff through. You know? I mean, there's a lot of products out there. I think that wouldn't get through the Dragon's Den. You know, if you went on the Dragon's Den and said, I've got this idea of these little castles, right, and they go in goldfish bowls. The goldfish, he's got a little castle to swim around. They'd go, what a goldfish got to do with castles? You're mental, you are. That's like putting an anchor in a rabbit hutch. What's the matter with you? But I bet if you sold them in pet shops, say, what's that? Oh, it's an anchor for your rabbit hutch. I don't want one of those, yeah. He loves that anchor. Yeah. Pebble dashing. If you went on the Dragon's Den, said, I've got this idea. You know your lovely brickwork? Yeah? I'm going to cover it all in cement and stones. So your house looks shit. Yeah. With the added bonus, you don't get burgled. Argos. If you're on the Dragon's Den with the idea for Argos, I've got this idea for a shop, right? It's got everything in it, but you're not allowed to see it. Give it a fantastic crowd. Thank you very much. And good night. Thank you.
Oh, no. I'll stop that immediately. That's a little bit over the top there, ladies and gentlemen. But very welcome, I have to say. Thank you so much for that. That was so... Whatever happens next, I'm going to look back on tonight as a great success. So thank you so much. It's good of you. My name is Ardal, by the way. It is a real name. People are always asking me, like, what sort of a name is Ardal? In quite a hostile way sometimes. What sort of a name is Ardal? You know, as if I picked it, like, as if I enjoyed being called Ardal, the big fat Mardal all my life. You think I like... No, I didn't. The truth is, my parents named me after a village in Norway. This is true, by the way, which is best known for an aluminium plant that's been linked with a very serious outbreak of Alzheimer's disease. There's a very weird sense of humour, my parents, calling me after an environmental disaster zone. I'm just being paranoid, according to my brothers, Chernobyl and Hiroshima. I had a really embarrassing incident earlier on in the week. I was on a train and I offered my seat to a woman. And I started talking to her. She didn't like that, but, you know, I gave her my seat, so the least you could do is have a chat. And I said to her, when are you due? And, of course, I probably shouldn't have said that. I mean, it wasn't the first time. And she looked at me with horror. And, of course, I realised she wasn't actually pregnant. She was just a little bit fat. But quick as a flash, I covered my tracks. I said, when are you due another snack? So, yeah. So it's brilliant to be here in Leeds, I have to tell you that. Last weekend was pretty traumatic. I was at home in Dublin. We were having a family meeting with my family, obviously my brothers and sisters and I. It was a meeting we'd been putting off for a very long time. It was the what are we going to do with Mammy meeting. Now, I don't know if any of you have had that one yet. Ever since the accident, she spends the whole day just looking through the window. I wanted to let her in, but they were having none of it. That's the sort of people I grew up with. So that's what's going on. I should warn you, ladies and gentlemen, due to the very harsh economic conditions everywhere, I've had to cut back on the number of jokes in my set tonight, so I apologise for that. I've had to let all my joke writers go and outsource the whole operation to India. So, that's the way it's going. So most of my current material is about arranged marriages and the perils of bathing in the Ganges. So that's not much good to us here in Leeds. But I'm a big hit in Mumbai, so that's something. Sanjeev actually wrote that bit and that bit. So he's getting the hang of it. But I think it's very important that we all look on the bright side, ladies and gentlemen, going forward. We must be positive. And one advantage of the recession is that obese people aren't getting a hard time anymore. You don't read so much about it or anything. Everyone's thinking, oh, they're the clever ones, putting it all away for a rainy day. Mind you, I was reading in the newspaper that some American airlines, they're charging obese people for 2 seats. Can you believe that? That's just a bit mean, isn't it? Of course, Ryanair, crafty as ever, they're on the case as well. They're charging schizophrenics for 2 seats. They always have to go too far, don't they? You hear the latest ruse? They're charging for emotional baggage now, I kid you not. But we've got to try and be positive. My father was an incredibly upbeat man. He was one of these people, he says, the best way to be positive is to live every day as if it's your last day on earth. It's good advice, isn't it? What I do is I spend all day in bed with an oxygen mask and some rosary beads. You should try that. It's not easy to be positive. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a Catholic. It's not easy being a Catholic nowadays. I mean, it was never easy being a Catholic, but now with all the scandals worldwide, it's horrendous. I have to tell you, I think the Pope should resign, and I think the cardinals should resign, and I think God himself should seriously consider his position at this stage. I mean, he must have known what was going on. You know, he should quit and be replaced by one of the Hindu fellas with all the arms and the legs. Sanjeev assured me that would get a bit of a titter. It's terrible. You can't have any association with the church anymore. You can't even admit to being a fictional priest anymore. That's what I find personally, you know. It's true. And I don't like saying this, I don't say it lightly, but I think the Pope is a big fat liar. He is. You just know right well when he's apologising to the faithful, you just know he's hiding another priest under his cassock. You just know that. Even the word cassock, it's an anagram of ass and cock. That's how depraved. That's how depraved they are. Yeah. But I think that the truth is, things are pretty grim everywhere. And we've all got to tighten our belts now, don't we? I went out to a restaurant with my wife the other night. I have a wife, hooray! And wives are great. And we went out to a restaurant for an argument, and we were there for a little while. Some of you have wives, you know what I'm talking about. It was the anniversary of our first argument, and we were there for a while, and she had a starter, and I didn't bother myself. And then we went home, and on the way out, I took a huge big handful of mints and an extra coat. So it turned out to be a pretty good night after all. There are so many manly things that I cannot do. I can't even open a bra with any sort of confidence or distinction. That's something all men should be able to do from an early age. Open a bra. Women appreciate a bit of dexterity in that department. I mean, if you don't have a girlfriend, just ask your friend to put on a bra and practice on him, because it's important. Women hate all the awkward fumbling. Oh, God, I'll do it myself. And then, of course, the magic is gone. My wife knows all she has to do is wear a bra, and she's safe from my advances. 2 bras, another one instead of knickers, and she's in violet. You know. Sometimes she slings a bra across the front door, I can't even get into the house. She keeps all our money in a bra, and our biscuits. But making love is not an unpleasant activity, if memory serves me correctly. But as a term, it leaves an awful lot to be desired, doesn't it? Making love. It just sounds a little bit insipid. It doesn't describe the act effectively. How did you get on last night? Oh, we made love, and then we watched location. It was a really great night. You know, when lads are together, the language is more robust, isn't it? It's more effective. You know, how did you get on last night? I screwed her. I nailed her. You know, I drilled her. It's all DIY terminology, frankly, isn't it? I sanded her down, so I did. I primed her, I applied 2 coats, and I let her dry. There's millions of euphemisms for this activity. It doesn't have to be DIY, it can be anything. Oh, she was leaking, I sorted that out, so I did. You know? Maybe not that one, but... yeah. Do you know what I mean? But I think the most important time of the day for anyone here lucky enough to be in a relationship, I think, is the first half an hour after you get into bed in the evening. This is the vital time for all of us who live busy lives. This is the chance to catch up on the day's events and discuss your hopes and your dreams for the future, and to blame each other for stuff that went wrong earlier on. And it's also a great opportunity to touch each other. You know, maybe not like that. That won't get you very far. Anyway, just stop polishing my face there, you freak. It's a very important time of the day. Don't squander it. It also happens to be the time of the day that my wife decides to text every single person she knows. It's infuriating, goes on for hours. The only way I can get her attention in the bed is by text. You know, if you ever move over there, you've got the whole duvet. Then I get a text back. Who is this? So I'm having an affair at the moment. With my wife, I should stress, we're both very lazy people. And basically, it's a game we play. Something I'd like to share with you that you can use in your lives if you need it. I arrive home on a Tuesday afternoon pretending to be my wife's secret lover, wearing a cravat and clogs and special leggings. And we go up to the bedroom and take all our clothes off, and she's going, oh, no, we shouldn't. And I'm going, oh, we should. And what happens, only this very good friend of ours called Tony calls around, pretending to be my wife's husband. And, yeah. I have to very quickly put on all my clothes and climb out the window and stay away for about 3 hours. I'm not a fool. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all from me. Thank you very, 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 very much for listening to me, and good night. Thank you. Cheers.
In Leeds. I'm from Newham in East London, voted the 3rd worst place to live in Britain. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, quite proud. Beat Hackney, they only came 5th. Who's the daddy now? The daddy is someone being chased by the Child Support Agency. Now, I'll give you an example, right, of what Newham is like, okay? Right, this happened on my local bus, right? The bus is crawling down the bus lane, right? And there's this girl at the back of the bus. Now, I'm not judging, all right? But she was white and chavvy. Now, well, what? That is like the only social group that black people know for definite we can look down on. Chavvy types, I go, look, it's you bringing the house prices down now, not us. All right? I'll tell you a couple of facts about chavvy types, right? Ready? Fact number 1, okay, there are more chavs round my way. Right? Number 2, yeah, that was it. Right? They don't wear glasses. Right? Apart from Little Ben in EastEnders, but he doesn't really count, bless him. And by the way, the woman that plays him is amazing. Was she one of the Crankies? She's brilliant. I'm Debbie Dorsey. No, they don't wear glasses, right? You will never get a chavvy type round my way, go up to someone and go, "Wait, mate, I'm going to punch your face in." Seriously, you won't. The reason? Because there are no opticians in Newham, OK? The closest you'll get to an optician round my way is someone going, "Oi, oi, look where you're going." That is our opticians. I don't even want to go back. I'm trying to get someone to adopt me. Hey, you could adopt me. Mate, you could adopt me. Do you want to see my adopt me face? Are you ready? It's going to break your heart. You ready? Just £2 a month. Thing is, you just have to beat Madonna out of the way first, though, eh? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Come on, we hate Madonna. Look how much charity work she's had to do just to get us to like her. She's all over Africa. She's like malaria. But... still searching for a cure. Now, so I'm on this bus, right? This is why Newham is the 3rd worst place to live in Britain. And we did try for 2nd place, but Hull, who knew? Really? Now, right, so I'm on the bus, right? Bus is crawling down the bus lane, and this girl shouts out. She shouts out across the whole bus. She goes, "Oi, driver, hurry up, mate. Some of us have got to go court, innit?" But then she looks around to include all of us in that, because obviously we're all going to court. I was like, speak for yourself. I'm on bail. I'm guessing she's not the judge. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe she is Chantel QC. Can't see it myself. Round our way, it'd be MC Chantel QC. Thank you very much. She'd be there in court going, "You're getting 5 years because you mugged that little old lady. But if you're good and if you're lucky, then just maybe." Wait, right? You'll be out in 2 weeks because this system's bare crazy. All rise. That's what you get off her, bless her. Bless her heart. I love that sound that, like, the MCs... Because it was on like, MCs records for a while. They always had that sort of hoo, hoo, hoo. And I always thought, it sounds like an animal, right? But how did they decide that that was the animal sound that was going to go on all their records? Do you know what I mean? Like, did they try other sounds out first? Did they go into the studio and go, bro, I've got an idea, right? Hit record. Check this out, yeah? Check 1, 2, respect is overdue. To reggae music, both old and new. Meow. They should have at least tried it. You know what I mean? I'm really stupid, though. I love stupid sounds. Like, I love the stupid sounds that we used to make when we were little kids. I wish we still did them now. Like, who used to do this when they were little? Who went, I'm telling. Yeah. Excellent. Did you do that? Yeah. You grass. No one likes the grass. But I think we should still do it now in our adult lives. Like, say your mate calls you up, "Claire, it's me, I've been having an affair. Darren doesn't suspect a thing." And you just go, I'm telling. This is another one, right? I used to do this when I was a little kid, right? Who used to do this? I used to go, and like have a competition with your brothers and sisters to see who could do it the longest. You cheated, you brave, when I tell him out. Cool. Some people know what I'm talking about, right? Other people are just staring at me like, what is wrong with her? The people that don't know what I'm talking about, I'll tell you why, okay? You had toys. Okay, the rest of us, we just had, That's all we had. But I want you guys to enjoy this. The people that don't know what I'm saying, I want you to enjoy this. And I want you to bring it into your adult life. I'll tell you exactly when you use it, right? If you find yourself in a bit of an awkward, difficult situation, right? And you don't know what else to say that, right? Picture the scene. Say someone comes up to you and goes, "Did you realise you were doing 40 miles an hour in a 30-mile-an-hour zone?" And you just turn around to them and just go, people. Leeds, you've been absolutely delightful. Thank you so much for having me. Good night.
So, good evening. Some weird people about. I was sitting in traffic the other day and I got run over. My grandfather, he can't do what he used to, bless him, you know, bomb the Japanese. My other grandfather, he would never ever throw anything away, but he died in the war holding on to a hand grenade. My other grandfather, his last words to me were, "You selfish boy," and not long after that I became a fishmonger. My other selfish. My other grandfather got a metal plaque on his forehead dedicated to a park bench that died. My other grandfather, he broke his leg by standing on a doormat. Probably should have explained to him the concept of a helter-skelter. Students can study all sorts of things these days, but then the exams are a lot easier. I know this because I recently passed an exam in cheerleading. I just went in and said, "Give me an A," and they did. I just went back to my old school. First time in 20 years, I took a note. I went back for the funeral of my old science teacher. They asked me to say a few words, so I did. Method. We put the coffin in the crematorium. Observations. It burned with an orangey bright flame. Conclusion. No more homework. I was talking to a nurse the other day. She said the main problem facing the NHS is Holby City. Actually, she might have said obesity. But she was eating a cake at the time. I think if I'd unlimited money, I'd hire 2 private investigators and get them to follow each other. I'd just like to say to the old man who was wearing camouflage gear and using crutches who stole my wallet earlier, you can hide, but you can't run. I was walking along today and on the road I saw a small dead baby ghost. Although thinking about it, might have been a handkerchief. Tricky, isn't it, if you've got to text someone that one of their relatives has died and your name is LOL. May he rest in peace. LOL. This year I went home for Christmas. Couldn't get in the door. Too many granddads. So what's it like then to have voices in your head, I hear you ask? Hopefully I've got a book coming out soon. Shouldn't have eaten it, really. Well, it's great to have been here. I'll leave you tonight with this. My other grandfather. I remember years ago being in his house, and on the table there was a chocolate cake. And he looked over at me and he said, "Go on. No one's looking." I said, "What, really?" He said, "Go on. No one's looking." So I got up and I punched Grandma. That's all from me. Have a good night. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's hear it for the beer! All hail to the ale! And welcome the wine for the ladies. Good evening. Look at this beautiful audience. Hey, look at this Muppet shot of the front row as well. Fantastic. Hey, what's your name, sir? Callum. Callum? Beautiful British name. What do you do, Callum? You're a student. What are you studying, young man? DT, physics and maths. Well, here's all you need to know about physics, mate. That's it. Now, the point is, because I'm worried about this kid, because you've got nothing to look forward to. Yeah, I mean, did you even believe there's a God, son? Do you believe there's a God? Huh? You don't believe there's a God? Yeah? You don't believe there's a God? Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I will prove for you now, right, live on stage here this evening, that there is a God. Yeah, and I'm not going to use Bible blah blah or Vicar waffle, right? Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use common sense reasoning from within my brain, right? And when I prove that there's a God, I want you to stand on your feet, turn to this audience and say, "I believe." Yeah? You up for that? Good boy. Excellent. Thanks for volunteering. Now, the point is this, there's obviously a God. I see proof of God's existence in creation every single day. The beautiful butterfly's wing, the dolphin cresting the wave, the smallpox virus in action. Wherever I look, I see the existence of God, right? Yeah? And I mainly know there's a God using common sense every time I look in the sky and see a jumbo jet flying in the sky, right? Because I know nothing about physics. I know nothing about lift, thrust, drag, aerodynamic coefficients between different aerofoil surfaces, about thrust vectors from engines. I know nothing about any of that bollocks. Right? I've never even heard of any of it. But what I do know, without a shadow of a doubt, is that a jumbo jet is too heavy to get off the ground, isn't it? It's too heavy to fly. And this is where divine intervention comes in, where God comes in. So that jumbo jet gets to the end of the runway, like that. And prepares to take off. At this precise moment, God is up in heaven, looking down, right? From heaven. Now, no one knows where that is. It could be in the sky, it could be in space. Maybe it's behind the moon, personally. I think it's behind the moon. What's going on? They nearly saw me, that was close. Lightning. Disappear again. Like that. God's up in heaven, and he looks down to the runway, and he hears a sound coming from the aeroplane. Not the sound of the engines powering up for takeoff. No, the sound of incessant, fervent praying. "Please, God, make it get off the ground. Please, I want to go on holiday. I don't want to catch fire at the end of the runway in the fence. Please, make it fly. Please, God, please, 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 please." Like that. And that's just the crew. God hears this. God hears this and he's reminded of something. He's reminded of a promise he made to mankind over 100 years ago, on September the 17th, 1903. Because on September the 17th, 1903, God was up in heaven, looking down at the world, and he heard two men arguing, two men rowing with one another. He looked down and he could see they were arguing over this strange contraption on the ground, this weird thing with wings and a tail and an engine. They were rowing with each other. He looked at it and thought, well, that's not going to fly, is it? That's never going to fly. That'd be reasonable. I mean, it's got wings, but the wings don't even flap. Hey, all those birds flying around as a clue. What a tragic waste. Hey, come on, that's not going to fly. And they were arguing. The Wright brothers were kicking off. No, you listen to me, you fool. There ain't no way this aeroplane going to fly. Brothers. Now, God heard this. I think they're going to kill each other. Well, I've got to step in. So at the precise moment of takeoff, he reached down with his almighty right hand, picked up the aeroplane, and carried it round the prairie. Holy shit! Like that. Now who's the fool? And as a result, mankind achieved its first ever powered flight. But God had snookered himself, hadn't he? Because from that moment on, he's obliged to make every other plane that flies according to those physical principles fly. And that's why the 20th century turned to shit, because God was too busy juggling aeroplanes to listen to us, wasn't he? Yeah? All day, every day, Heathrow Airport. Oh, Christ, stacking back this afternoon. It's busy down there, all standstill as well. Oh, get me, oh, quick. Shoreham Airport. Just... There's one. Oh, good, Heathrow all day. That's why we won the Battle of Britain, isn't it? That's why the British won the Battle of Britain, because God, being British, was dropping German aeroplanes on the sly. Oh, there goes his Messerschmitt. And that proves the existence of God, doesn't it, son? Yeah, using common sense. On your feet, turn to this audience and say, I believe. On your feet, boy. That's it.
I believe there's a God.
Good boy. Fantastic. Beautiful. There you go, Pops have sorted that for you. It's been my pleasure drinking. I'll see you again. Please take your glasses. Back to the bar.
Hello, Glasgow. Yeah. It's a pleasure to be back on the Comedy Roadshow in Glasgow. Last series, I was in Edinburgh. Last series, Edinburgh. Don't boo. You don't need to boo it. They're nice people. You know? Edinburgh and Glasgow, same country, very different cities. In Edinburgh, when a gun goes off, it's 1 o'clock. And we'll leave it at that. It's good making a bit of national TV now. I've got regional accents always sound quite severe on national TV. I never realised I had such a strong accent until I went to the cinema to see a movie called The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. And I don't know if anybody went to the cinema to see this movie. It was pretty deserted, the cinema. I don't think that's a reflection on the movie itself, more the struggle to obtain tickets in the Glasgow area. You know, the automated cinema ticket booking line. They do not do Glasgow accents. I phoned up and it's quite simple. Welcome to Odeon. Please state which branch of Odeon you would like to purchase tickets for. Now that's quite straightforward, because there's one word in the English dictionary designed to be said in a Glasgow accent, and it's Glasgow. And then I began to encounter some difficulties. Okay, please speak slowly and clearly, stating the full name of the movie you would like to purchase tickets for. If you'd like to hear a full list of movies again, please press 1. The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Please speak slowly and clearly, stating the full name of the movie you'd like to see. If you'd like to hear a full list of movies again, please press 1. The Taking of Pelham. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, I just gave up. I thought I'll show up early and buy my tickets face to face. Old school ticket purchasing. However, I picture some Scottish nationalist who would see this as a form of linguistic repression and remain on that phone for as long as it took. The Taking of Pelham. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. English bastards!
Thank you. You have chosen Inglorious Bastard certificate. So I still live in this city here. I've recently moved out. I no longer live with my parents. Now it's quite cool. Now you get a bit of freedom, a bit of independence that you long for as a young person. From the very first moment you got your taste of independence, when word had spread in your school that somebody's mum and dad were going away for the weekend and that the person was having a party. The person never knew they were having a party. Perhaps having would be the wrong choice of word. They were getting a party. When I was growing up, it was called an empty. That's what we call it. It derives from somebody had the house to themselves. They had an empty house, thus they had an empty. Now you mustn't confuse the empty with the high school parties that you see in American movies. Hey man, do you guys know a kid called Chad Hogan? Yeah, everybody knows Chad Hogan, dude. He's like the coolest kid in high school. Well, Chad Hogan's mom and dad are going away to Long Island for the weekend, man. There's a party at Chad Hogan's place? Yeah, spring break! Then it shows you Chad Hogan's party. The guy's booked a band for his living room. Everybody's nodding with these plastic cups of beer, going, great party, Chad, yeah, woo! A bedroom door swings open, some guy emerges. Guess who got the third base last night? Yeah! The guy's about 35 years old. That's the kind of parties we had. We never had spring break. We had the Easter holidays. A lot more tension in an empty, somebody's psycho cousin would disrupt the ambience by announcing he'd purchased 12 cans, drank 2, spilt 1, but only had 7 left. Turn that music off, I've got a can thief, turn that off. People are crying with attention, this guy. Somebody else in the corner smoking a joint and blowing it into a Labrador's face. An intelligent dog as well, and it's sitting there frazzled. Put a bit in its bowl, eh? Ah, come on. Hey, it's the dog's weekend as well, right? Eh? Something in the kitchen, get a hang of custard cream. Another guy just trying on people's jackets. Do you think this one suits me? Not even asking, does it fit me? Does it suit me? The guy's a petty thief, but he's also a fashionista. You need to look your best. The same guy that's leaving the house at the end of the night holding a microwave. I think you'll find I brought this with me. And I don't care for the accusations. I mean, why would I steal a microwave? Have I got any religious people in? I don't mean that in a Catholic, Protestant, let's wreck the place. I just mean that I don't really know. I'm neither religious nor atheist. I don't have a clue. I think you need to make up your own theories. No, at school, I would always take religion over science, because science was quite difficult. Right? You had to remember stuff and read stuff, whereas religion was a laugh. Just some guilt-ridden women reading from the Bible to a class full of hyperactive adolescents. Pissing themselves laughing at a cock and balls on the blackboard. You grow up really thinking there's a God and he created the world, and if you live a good life, you go to heaven, live a bad life, you go to hell, and that sounds like a good plan. But then you think, if there's a God, why is there so much war, corruption and greed in the world? I think you need to make up your own theories. I've combined a bit of religion and a bit of atheism and came to the conclusion that maybe God created the world, but then he pissed off. He's God, he's going to have more than one property, right? Maybe he's left us an empty in the world that we live in. And that's why there's war, corruption and greed, because all good house parties get a bit out of hand. Maybe God will come back one day and go look at the state of this place. You'd have people like Robert Mugabe and George Bush heading for the exit. He never thought he was coming back. Do you see his face? He's raging. Do you see his face? The Pope sitting there. The Pope knows he's getting grounded. I'll speak to you in a minute, Pope. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks a lot for listening to me. Have a great week. Good night. God bless. Thank you.
Oh, Bristol, you cheeky little otters, how are you? Oh, you're such a lively little bunch. I'd love to leap in and suck all your heads like Chuppa Chup lollies. How are you, sir? You all right? You feeling frisky? Don't worry about sitting in your seat. If you want to get involved, get on stage, get naked, get on top of me. Not in a gay way. Like two soldiers away from home, missing their wives. Having a little bit of a cuddle in bunk beds. Oh, the spoon position. You'll say, because you sometimes speak like a goblin. I'm only joking. What a room, lovely room. It's like an enormous Guess Who board. If everyone with a goatee beard and glasses could lean forward, I'd get an erection. I've got a Guess Who fetish, leave me alone. Imagine if I did the whole gig like this. You all had to read my thoughts. That way, if it was a shit gig, it'd be your own fault. I want to talk to you about magic. When I was a little kid, everything seemed magical. You know, it's quite enchanted. The world's quite magical. You see a tree and you think it's a dragon at night. Not the dragon's then, a normal dragon. Fire-breathing dragon. Or like, you know, you see ghosts in your room. Everything's magical when you're a little kid. And when you get older, it gets quite boring. It's not so magical. It's boring. It's like council tax bills and Pizza Express. Rubbish. I mean, actually, Pizza Express quite magical. Do you want to go for a meal? I suppose so. Pizza Express? Yeah! You go in there, it's all blue, there's some striped men who serve you food. Italians, I think they're called. I haven't really looked into it. But, like, when you're a little kid, I think you've got magical eyes when you're a kid. You see stuff. I'll give you an example. I remember being in the garden with my nan, and she was quite a bit older than me. And that's generally how it worked. Nan, why are we the same age? I don't know, it's gone a bit weird. But I was there, my nan was like 70 and I was about 6, and I thought I saw a fairy. And I was like, oh my God, Nan, look, there's a fairy, look. It is a fairy in a little tunic skipping through the pussy willow and the bracken. And my nan, you know, she didn't have the magical children's goggles on, and she just sort of looked over and went, yeah, that's not a fairy, is it? That's a prostitute. I tell you, my nan's hands were so soft. That's not even it. My nan's hands were so soft. She once caught a bubble and her hands burst. I was in the bath with my partner the other day, and you know what it's like? You think it's going to be romantic, but it never quite is. Baths are too small, and you end up fighting about who should sit at the end with the taps, and it just got really out of hand. It's ridiculous. You know, we're like splashing each other with water, and then it's like grabbing the soap dish, and it's just like getting the shampoo got well out of order. It's like 45 minutes of a massive full-on fire. Eventually, my girlfriend came in and went, look, I don't mind you and Jeff running a small business together. This is ridiculous. She made Jeff get out of the bath. She went, Jeff, you go in the corner, you wait there. When he's finished with the water, then you can get in. Jeff was furious. When I ain't doing that, he said, I'll have a horse wash at the sink. Just did his armpits and his balls. Jeff thought he'd won. Walked out like John Travolta. He went, yes, the horse wash. Got to the door, turned round. I had a bubble beard. Oh, here's me, I'm coming in, I'm flying around the room, I'm a terrific blue bottle. Here's me, I'm coming in the room, I'm flying all over the place, I'm flying in a figure of 8, I'm doing a figure of 8 now, I'm going quite straight, I'm doing right angles, look at me, it's like I'm orchestrating a map of Hampton Court Maze, but from an aerial perspective. Here's me, I'm flying all around the house, I'm in the front room, I'm in the back room, I'm in the kitchen, I'm landing on the fridge door, and now I'm going back out again, and I'm coming back in half an hour later, and I'm landing in exactly the same place. Now I'm going out again. I'm going out again. You don't know what's happening. I've been gone ages this time. Could be days. I've come back in. I've landed in exactly the same place. It's doing your head in. You can't work it out. We'll never know if it really is the same place, though, unless when I land on it, you draw around my feet, and then when I go away, when I come back, we see if there's any overlap. Here's me, I'm flying all around the place, I'm flying all around the place. Now I'm in the distance, now I'm in the distance, now I'm coming up really close to your ear. I'm in the distance, I'm in the distance, now I'm really close to your ear. You're like that. And if someone sees you, you have to go, I thought it was a wasp. And then when that person goes away, I'll give you a little look as if to say we both knew full well that wasn't a wasp, that was a fly. Here's me, I'm coming in. I've got 3 hours of this. Here's me, I'm coming in. I'm coming in, there's me, there's another one of me mates, there's another one of me mates, there's another one of me mates, there's 5 of us in total. We're all the same size. Does that mean we're the same age? Has anyone ever really done any research into fly sizes against ages? Here's me coming in, here's me. I told you I had 3 hours. Here's me coming in. There's you at your little desk there. You're trying to do some writing. Perhaps you're at college, perhaps you're writing a novel. I'm not sure, but I keep just buzzing around your head and you don't know what's happening. I'm buzzing around your head. You have no idea what's happening. You're getting really annoyed. You can't concentrate. So you go over and open the window. But you open the window in a way it's never actually been opened before in its entire career as a window in a house. It has been opened so wide, you're like that. Oh! All the way to the top. No one's ever opened a window that wide before. And when I come in the room, as if I won't see that as a trap. I can see 175 frames a second, my friend. I can see when a window's been opened to its fullest. You're sitting there at your desk, the window's open, I come towards it, come towards it, come towards it, come towards it. The last minute, I do a little turn off. Here I come. I've actually gone through it. You can't believe it. You've jumped up out of your desk. You've slammed it shut. You think you've won. You're doing a victory dance, but I'm behind your head. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been absolutely amazing. It's been an amazing night. Thanks for having me. Cheers. Good night. Thank you.
Good. Hey, nice one. Thank you. How are you? Michael McIntyre, everyone. How good's he? What a legend. The Apollo. Look at this. Is anyone else thinking they've scrubbed it up quite nice, haven't they? But it's nice now it's on the telly. When we usually it's a right shithole, isn't it? But look at it. It's well nice. Good work, Hardwick. I mean, a lot of these cameras are not going to make it back to London, you know that, don't you? So, good. So, my wife's pregnant at the moment. We're expecting twins in the summer, and we're all very excited, yeah. And she was getting very broody at work. Like 5 women in the space of a month got pregnant. She was like, "Oh, it must be something in the water." I'm like, "Well, unless it's sperm, don't matter, does it? There's no actual correlation there, is it? It's just coincidence, really." No, she's very broody all the time, my wife. And we were trying for kids for ages, and we were trying. And after a while, you think maybe there's something wrong. You know, you get to that point. And we went to the doctors. And I hope nobody ever has to go through this situation. It's an embarrassing situation. It's awful, right? It's a little bit demeaning sometimes. And we went in, and luckily nothing was wrong. It all happened fine. But we went in and we met this doctor, Dr. Barron, as well. That's not who you want to meet when you're talking. I was like, "Is there anyone else available? Dr. Low Sperm Count or something? What's going on here?" Anyway, she dealt with it fine, right? She asked me wife a load of questions. Then she turned to me, right? She says to me, "Right, Mr. Manford, how many times on average a week do you masturbate?" Oh, God, a week. I left my diary at home, like you keep a tally of it, you know what I mean? She was like, "Come on, how many times?" My wife is proper laughing as well, like sweat is pouring down my back. I said I don't really, you know, I'm too busy. She says, "No, come on, we're all adults. How many times a week?" I said, "Just, you know, the average amount, really. Whatever the national average is, that's me. Bang on in the middle there. Whatever the neighbours are doing, that's me. Keeping up with the Joneses, that's me." She said, "Well, what's the average?" I said, "Well, I don't know. You're the expert. I don't know what's going on here." In the end, I just had to guess. Right, I thought, right, I'm just going to have to go for it. So I just went, 5? That's above the average, right? I don't know if anyone... The average is 2.5. I don't know who's having half of one. Right? I don't know. Who's that bloke? On a Friday. I think we'll leave it there, folks, and pick that up first thing Monday morning. I'm looking forward to being a dad. I'm looking forward to it, because dads are amazing. They can do stuff that nobody's ever taught them. You know, like changing a plug with a butter knife. That's never something that's in no DIY manual, that is it. Give it here, I'll sort that out here at the kitchen table. Don't worry about it, there we are. Is that live? That live, that? Shut that live. And parents are important. They teach you, of course, they teach you everything. I mean, dads are less important, I think, in the sense that most of the stuff they do is just made up. You know what I mean? They've made it up. They're liars, aren't they? Dads are liars. And nothing serious. Like the classic in our house, and you might have had this, it's a classic all over this country, you might have heard this before, is when the ice cream van comes round, when he plays his music, that means he's got no ice creams left, doesn't it, right? And that, in our house, was a fact, OK? I mean, to the point where you'd seen a line of kids outside, you go, "Dad, them stupid kids out there. They're deaf or something. What's going on there? Don't know the truth like me and you." Anyway, I'm off to college. Right, you know, those lines would stay with you forever, wouldn't they? My dad told us that black puddings lived at the bottom of the garden, right, that they were little animals. And every morning, he'd go down, he'd catch a few in a net, take the legs off, poke their eyes out, put them in a pan, have them for his breakfast. Now, that's quite cute at home. Makes you sound like a right knobhead at school, though, it does. No wonder we got bullied. What are you doing this weekend, Jace? Going black pudding onto me with my dad. But the worst one my dad did, I remember I was always a little bit in trouble. My brother was in trouble. We'd always fight. And my dad, he was working nights, so one of the rules was you just got to be quiet all the way through the day, really quiet. And he'd be fast asleep upstairs. And me and my brothers, even when we were proper fighting, he'd still be on mute. It was amazing. And my brother would wind me up. He'd come running in from playing football, all hot and sweating. He'd go to the fridge, he'd start drinking milk straight out of a 4-pinter. I could see bits of sweat going off his lip onto the milk. That's going on my ready break, innit? I don't need that. So what I'd do as an 8-year-old is I'd hide behind the fridge and I'd jump out, squeeze it in his face dead hard. Now, that's quite humorous now when we're adults, right? When you're 8, that is the funniest thing you will ever see. Until it starts seeping out of his ears and his nose, and then you've come to a new level. And he'd be like, "Dad! Dad!" I'd be like, "Shut your mouth. Your power kill you." chopper made it worse, obviously, you know. And then I did that worst sound of my childhood, my dad's foot hitting the floor upstairs. Obviously, I didn't swear. I was only 8, like, crikey. Right, Red Hot Vino, you know. And then we start coming down the stairs, like, when you make it into the kitchen, you go, right, what's gone on here then? Even though dads, they already know. My dad is like something out of CSI Manchester, something like that, you know. Spilt milk coming out of his ears, all right, I've worked it out. He's like Columbo, he's worked it out in the first 5 minutes, but like Columbo, likes to drag it out over an hour. All right, what's going on? Huh? And he'd throw this extra thing in, my dad, he'd go, right, stick your tongues out. What? I don't know if anyone did it. Stick your tongues out. Why? Because it's well known a liar's tongue turns bright green straight after a lie. Oh, does it? I didn't know that. So my brother, not been lying, tongue straight out. Nice and pink. Me, who had been lying, think I'm not falling for this, I'm going to keep my green tongue in my mouth. I think I've won this one. That's a couple of dads going, I'm having that when I got home, that's going in. And honestly, it works a treat. And then he'd drag us up. We didn't have a phone at home, so he'd drag us up to the phone box. Right, I'd have to dial this number. Hello? Is that Chief Inspector Williams, Greater Manchester Police? You'll go to prison. Prison? I'm only 8. I don't care. If you're old enough to push milk in your brother's face, you're old enough to go to prison, all right? Which is not a phrase I've heard since, but he swore by it. Yeah, he's been bad again. All right, yeah. Then the phone will come to me. Hello! I'm sorry! It's Chief Inspector Williams here, Greater Manchester Police, and if you're bad again, I will come round with the van and the dogs, take you to Strange Ways Prison for 15 years. You wouldn't either, would you? What are you in for, mate? Pushing milk in my brother's face! Tough first day. And that used to happen every week for about 6 years to me and both my brothers, and I never realised, but we stopped ringing Chief Inspector Williams shortly after my granddad died. just never put 2 and 2 together all those years. Thinking back now, he didn't even change his voice, it was just him. He wasn't even acting. I just believed it so much. The weird thing was, my nana, she had the exact same voice as the woman who owned the orphanage. I never got to the bottom of that. But the granddad one, I only worked it out as well. I've got another little brother now, he's 8 years old, Niall, and my dad, he rang me up out of the blue, I was in Tesco's or something. I went, hiya, he went, hiya. That Chief Inspector Williams, Greater Manchester Police. I will not be part of your lie, old man. It ends right here. Thanks very much, Manchester Apollo. Good night, God bless. Bye-bye. Cheers. Cheers. Bye-bye.